Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Was a Master of the Mystical Arts. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channel. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels which I post What If on every single day. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the King of Curses Sukuna. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the End Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So yeah, without further ado or wasting no more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Naruto was brought to Ino's room by her mother and father. After getting there, Naruto picked up on something. He smelled something. As he went towards Ino's laptop, there was a password on it. The family was confused because her laptop had no password, so they didn't understand what exactly was going on. That is when Naruto saw the blank screen as he noticed something in the corner behind him. He pulled the cross from his neck as he placed it on it and started to chant a few words. The next moment, it frizzled and then the password vanished. That is when Naruto stepped towards the closet as he started to peel the wall off. Underneath it was a photo. After doing a little bit of research, he found out that a boy had ended himself here. That was not uncommon to get a realtor like this that want to sell the house. But this was a once frat house, as Naruto decided that he would go deeper for some information. Kairi was not buying this though, as she wanted to leave. Once Naruto stepped out, she saw something in the closet that terrified her. It was the spirit of the boy, and it vanished. Naruto made his way towards Shin. Shin was the best friend of Sai, who died. The both of them sat down as Shin told Naruto everything. Turns out that Sai was an art major, and his professor, Shamura, was a rather controlling and vindictive man, and he kept on verbally and physically torturing Sai to get perfection out of him. When Sai failed the upcoming art show, things got bad. He couldn't take it anymore, the stress and everything, so he ended himself. Shin was messed up after that. It was a couple years ago. He has been trying to put his life back together as he was saddened that he had not seen the signs. As Naruto told him that he was going to need his help. Returning back toward the psychiatric ward, Naruto came there along with Kairi and Inoichi as they made their way. When Naruto got inside, he told him that he had to wait outside as Shin came along. As Naruto started to speak and mess up the painting that Ino was doing, she started to mutter something in fright. When Shin came inside, she started to open up. It turns out that it was not Ino, it was actually Sai. He had taken over her when she slept and he had become permanent host. Yes, he never meant to do it. He was saddened by it. He never wanted to do it. Shin was able to speak to him. Once that was over though, Naruto was left alone with him. As Naruto told him what will happen, he accepted his fate, as he was the one to have ended his own self. It did not take too long for Naruto to pull his spirit out and anchor it as he was dragged downwards. Ino was then freed. When her mother saw her, she dropped down to her knees crying. 2 months passed by rather quickly. All that Ino could remember was the blonde guy. She did not know much about him, but she remembered him standing there. It was like a dream for her, like she was submerged under some deep, deep water. And she was finally free. Yes, she was back on the surface after being submerged for a very long time, as her mother had made sure everything was okay so that she could return back to normal living. It did not take too long for her to invite her friends over. Her mother did so, as they started to speak to her. Majority of them, Sakura and Tenten, did not believe in the, well, whole ghost thing, but they wanted to get back to normal how things were. The boys had left earlier, as they came up with the idea for her 21st birthday. She was becoming 21 very soon. They were going to go to Kiba cabin. Ino felt weird when she thought about it, but she shrugged it off, believing that it was just nerves trying to get back to her. So yeah, she shrugged it off like it was nothing, as she returned back to talking with her friends. We then skipped over to Naruto as he was on his phone, talking to someone. He then drove his car straight into a building. It exploded. However, Naruto stepped out. He was not harmed in the slightest, not even a scratch. As he went around and got a bike, putting on said helmet, he made his way as he drove off, as he had some business to take care of. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place check of yourself. So they say we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. It has been a week since Ino had reunited with her friends. At the moment, what the hell? A dark-skinned man yelled as he was trying to hear what was going on inside. Behind the door there sounded like animalistic roars. Hey, what the hell are you doing in there? Samui, what is he doing? The dark-skinned man yelled. Relax, Darui. It will not take long. Shut the hell up, the voice of Naruto said. Inside the room, Naruto stood over the violently thrashing woman. She had blonde hair as she thrashed from left to right. Veins were protruding from almost every part of her skin. Her eyes were completely white, empty. Naruto wrapped his cross around his left hand as he pulled out a bottle of clear water. He dropped down as he straddled her waist, holding her tight. He lashed his hand out as he grabbed her face as he opened the bottle. When the cross touched her from Naruto holding her face, it burned her skin as she hissed in pain. Naruto tilted the bottle above her head as a drop hit her forehead. She roared out in pain at the liquid that hit her skin. He pulled his hand back as she tried to bite him. She was snapping at him, trying to sink her teeth into his flesh, a crazy look on her face. He tilted the bottle over as a single drop landed right on her throat. She screamed out as she thrashed from left to right, trying to get free from him, but she could not. She snapped her head up as she tried to gouge for his throat. However, he pulled back the sheets, restraining her hands enough. As Naruto grabbed her by the head and slammed her head into the pillow, holding her there, the crucifix on his hand, burning the living daylight out of her. He used his left hand and pulled her shirt down before he took another drop. It fell right where her heart would be. This time the scream that left her lips was blood-curdling, as it was horrible. The veins started to retreat and get smaller and smaller. Her skin tone lightened in a few seconds. She then took in a deep breath as her eyes returned back to normal. It was almost like she was underwater for a long time as she gasped for air. Couldn't get enough of it. As Naruto was about to roll off of her, until she grabbed him and hugged him tightly, thanking him over and over again, not worrying about her indecent state. He pried her hands off of him as he stepped away, as he took another step back, out of the splash zone. Her cheeks bulged as she threw up, coughing over the side of the bed, black liquid pouring out of her mouth. Naruto opened the door as Darui rushed inside. He handed Naruto the black card before he rushed toward his wife. As Naruto took it and left, he did not want to intervene with the couple's moment. On his way throughout the house, shouts of thank you were sent towards him. as he stepped out into the night and got towards his bike. He sat down on his bike as he started to dial a few numbers on his phone as he waited for the person on the other side to pick up. "Hey, I'm finished up here. Yeah, just make sure that he eats." With that, he hung up the phone as he placed his helmet on. He revved up his bike as he started to zip through traffic. As he ignored the honking of the people that he cut off with his bike. After about an hour of driving, he arrived to our airport. As he pulled up at the lift gate checkpoint, as he showed his wallet to the security guard. "You're good, Mr. Uzumaki. Have a good night," the guard said with a nod. As Naruto brought his helmet up before he turned to the man. "Is he here yet?" The guard nodded. "Yeah, they were gassing things up just a few minutes ago," he said. Naruto nodded before he took off on the bike. As he arrived on the runway lot, that seemed to be rather empty. There was only one jet. It seemed to be a private jet, waiting for a takeoff. With all the open space, Naruto pushed on the gas, full throttle towards the private jet. As he pulled up next to it and came to a stop, bringing his hands up, he removed the helmet and placed it down on the front of the bike. As he hopped off said bike, making his way towards the jet, as he got on board. When he stepped in, the pilot was just coming out of the bathroom. A man with long blonde hair, done up in a ponytail, on the left side of his face. "Oh, you're here earlier than I expected," the blonde pilot said, looking towards Naruto. "Yeah, I had my bike today. No traffic," Naruto told him. "Well, if you're ready, we can get going immediately." "I'm all set," said Naruto as he made his way towards one of the open seats. As he turned his gaze towards a window. On the table in front of him, alcoholic beverages of all kinds. As he poured himself a glass of dark liquor, as he leaned back and enjoyed the flight. The next day, they landed in Kiri. It was a city famous for its heavy rainfall and always misty in the morning. Upon arriving, a new black Dodge Charger was waiting for him. He got in as he drove for about an hour and a half before he arrived at an apartment complex. He came out as he parked his car. He made his way towards a door, the number on it, 4206. As he knocked twice, there was a shuffling sound, followed by noises at the bottom, like something was scratching at it. Whimpering could be heard after that. He then started to hear the footsteps, growing closer and closer to the scratching of the door. The door then swung open. Immediately Naruto caught the black Labrador that leaped on him without a single thought of hesitation. As he chuckled and pushed the dog off of him, he pet his head to calm his excitement. "Hey buddy," said Naruto, as he rubbed his head. "He ate a few minutes ago. He may have to use the bathroom," the man said that answered the door. He had dark hair. His skin was a bit pale. He had on a white shirt and black shorts. He was also wearing shades, black shades over his eyes. As Naruto nodded, "Thanks, Shino," he said. "What else have you found?" he asked, as he stepped into the apartment and locked the door behind him. With the dog in tow, as Shino walked towards the corner of the room, it was set up with monitors, TVs, laptops, and a gaming system. He sat down on the computer chair as he started to type. "Well, I haven't found anything yet. I've checked through a couple of sites, but there has not been any alarming cases. There were 3, however, the uploaders themselves said that they were hoax," said Shino. As Naruto nodded, "Keep me updated," he said. "Indeed," Shino said. "How long has it been?" he asked. 2.5 weeks, Naruto replied, knowing exactly what Shino was speaking of. It's strange," Shino said. 4 exorcisms in 2.5 weeks. That's not common." Naruto had sit down by now as he was rubbing the dog head on his lap. As he nodded, "Churches or lax, the Vatican, won't let them come close to anything that could be considered to be a host." Shino pushed his shades up. How holy, he said. Yeah, that's the power of the press, said Naruto. One fake haunting and exorcism for publicity. And now they believe everyone's a fraud. Well, there was a certain spike in palm readers a few years ago, Shino said. That could really add to the issue. Well, it can't really be helped, said Naruto. There's many people out there. Just find the ones that you believe, he told Shino. As Shino nodded. So, did you have to? He asked. Not making his question clear, but Naruto knew what he was talking about. He shook his head. No. First two words pretty simple. The second was a willing soul, willing to give up the body. The third was a repossession. Seems I got lucky this time around, said Naruto. Shino nodded. That's good, he said. And to what you were asking for, I think I found it. Or maybe something similar. It was dug up by archaeologists 40 years ago. The archaeologist then sold it to a paranormal investigator after experiencing unusual activities surrounding and inside of his home. Who are the investigators, Naruto said. Daku and Shizui Yu. They work for the Vatican. They were quite famous a while back for their work. They were responsible for some well-known cases like the Enfield haunting and even the Amityville. I know exactly who they are, said Naruto. As he got to his feet, the dog hopping down. Find whatever you can. If it's urgent, let me know. If not, hold it for 3 days. Will do, Shino said. Did you burn all the cards? Naruto nodded. All but one. Shino raised an eyebrow. Is there a reason? Just a hunch. Your hunches are rarely wrong, Shino said. As Naruto did not reply, he made his way towards the door. Later, Bug, he said. As he whistled, making the dog know to go out first. Thanks again, he said over his shoulder. Lock the door, Shino said with a nod. Time skip. 1 month later, a scream could be heard from Tenten, beer in hand, as they were in a blue Volkswagen. As she was screaming out the window, her beer in her hand, a big smile on her face. As they traveled through the woods, Sakura, who was driving, laughed at her wild antics. Ino, who was in the passenger seat, simply giggled at her friend's antics. As she took a drink, she looked around. You guys, this is gonna be so much fun. Sakura chuckled. Yeah, that is if Kiba brings attractive guys. As arrogant as he is, he will probably bring some uggos, so that he look better by comparison. You know, you're exactly right. That is exactly something that he will do. It's so sad. It must be his rich boy complex come into play. Oh come on, he's not that rich. His mom owned a dog shelter. That doesn't make him wealthy. He's just slightly upper middle class, Sakura said. Well, he's richer than us. That is for sure. The semi-drunken Tenten said, her tone already slurring a bit. Whatever, Sakura said, dismissing the topic. So, Ino, she said. How's it feel being away from your parents after so long, she asked. Ino simply smiled and shrugged. Well, I don't really know yet. I mean, I'm fine right now at least. It was getting really boring at home recently, she told them. You see, I told you. You needed this, Tenten shouted. But there's nothing to worry about because we've always got your back. We're here for you. Thanks, Tenten, she said with a smile. Taking another drink, Tenten released another yell of approval. That being said here, she opened up another beer and handed it to Ino. Ino didn't really want to get so hammered before reaching the cabin. I was gonna wait until I get to the cabin before I drink some more. Oh come on, don't be such a wimp. We're almost there anyways. Just drink it. It would give you a confident booster. She's right, Ino. We're like 5 minutes away. And you know she won't stop until you drink, Sakura said, making Tenten chuckle. Ino sighed. Alright, fine, she said as she took it. It took them a few more minutes as they finally arrived towards the cabin. It seems Kiba was not lying at all. The 2-story cabin was absolutely beautiful, with a lake and a boat by the docks. There was a black Escalade as they pulled up, and there was Kiba outside barbecue, as he was holding a beer in his right hand. Seeing them drive up, he cheered. "Hey, the ladies are here," he yelled out. As the girls got out of the car, they saw two guys came out of the cabin. One was a slightly skinny guy with blue hair and glasses, and the other one was Choji. The girls shared a laugh. It seems that they were right about what they were talking about before getting here. As they got there, the guys seemed confused. Why were they laughing? But greeted nonetheless. "Hello ladies," Kiba said, with a smug smile. "Welcome to the cabin," he said. "You all know Choji," he said. "Choji knows you all. However, this is Kojiro. This is Sakura, this is Tenten, and this is Ino." He introduced all of them together. They all did their little greetings, with Tenten and Sakura still chuckling at the turn of events. The guys were still confused. Why were they laughing? Ino was silent as usual. "Speaking of Ino, happy birthday," Choji said, making his way towards her as he gave her a hug. "Thanks, Choji," she said, as she returned it. "And what an amazing day it's gonna be. Let the get together of Ino's celebration birthday begin," Kiba said. However, it was far from amazing. After they had a few drinks and eat together, they all fall apart. Yes, it wasn't even that late, and they all had passed out. Well, all of them but Ino. After they ate, the real hard-hitting liquor came out. That led to a very deep conversation between Sakura and Choji about his weight and healthy eating, and a most surprising little event between both drunken Tenten and Kiba, who went upstairs to have some fun to the bedroom. So that left the birthday girl alone, with the obviously inexperienced Kojiro. Their conversation was normal up to a certain point. He then started to scoot closer to her, trying to advance on her. At first she let it go, believing that he just could not hear her over the blazing music and the screams from upstairs. However, she could see that he was clearly intoxicated. She drew the line on his hand, rested on her thigh. She quickly excused herself as she joined Sakura and Choji conversation, leaving the drunken Kojiro to fall asleep in pure disappointment on the couch. Eventually, Choji found a spot on the kitchen floor to pass out on, leaving the two girls to go to a room upstairs to talk. In her drunken state of self-loathing, Sakura cried as she rested her head on Ino's lap. Her tear-filled rant was filled of issues in her personal life, such as her inability to find a proper boyfriend, and her desire to become a doctor, which was becoming incredibly taxing. As Ino rubbed her head, comforting her in her time of need. When she finally fell asleep, Ino was left alone. She slipped away from the bed, placing the pink blanket over Sakura. As she slowly made her way downstairs quietly, passing by Kojiro, she made her way towards the back porch. The sun had just gone down. The weather was nice. A cool breeze rustled through the air. It was calming and peaceful. As her gaze glanced over the area, thinking how beautiful that scene would look on a painting. As she thought about the last 3 years of her life stripped away from her. When she was inside, or rather when Sai was in control, she could see his life. She felt joy when she was with his brother, emptiness when she was not, and so much fear when that man came near. It was horrifying, a terrible sensation. Sai was hurting. That is why he found her body. He was in so much pain, and she was there to help him until the end. After the ordeal, it actually made her a bit happy knowing that someone had needed her so much to help them. And now being at home, sitting down watching TV all day, it was just so boring. She longed, need for some kind of adventure, something. She wanted to help people. It made her think about her dream before the ordeal. Or better yet, lack of any sort of dreams. The experience began at the start of her senior year, and even then she had no idea, absolutely none, what she wanted to do with her life. Her days were consumed by the fear of being in her own home. She had no time to think about the future or what she wanted to do. But now that is over and she is back, she had no idea on what to do. She heard something. It sounds like someone stepped on a leaf. She glanced towards the woods. "Hello," she said, looking for anyone. However, no one showed themselves, nor did she see any animal. But it must be some kind of animal, right? She turned back as a last ray of the daylight started to vanish, going deep into the night light. As the moonlight was peering down on the surface of the water, that is when she saw something across the lake. It was small, given the distance, but was that a car? She thought to herself. No, that was too small, but yet it looked like a car. That is when she heard more crunching, and it sounded like footsteps. She turned and looked around. "Who's there?" she said. "Kiba, is that you?" Once again, more footsteps. "Hello," she said, looking around trying to find the source. As her gaze fell on the darkness of the night, gazing through the trees, that is when she saw a deer. A deer head popped out, looking at her. She released a breath that she did not know she was containing. "Hey," she said, her tone raising, like she was talking to a baby or a puppy. "Aren't you a cute little thing?" she said, as she leaned over the patio railing. However, without a single sound, the deer sunk back into the shadows in a rather strange way. The door shut behind her. Someone was awake as she turned to see Tintin walking out. My head." "Oh, you're awake," Ino said, stating the obvious. "Of course I am. We could hear your screaming from upstairs." "Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to." No, said Tintin. "It's fine. Actually, I'm a little relieved, and also a bit mad," as she hit Ino in the arm with a roll-up jacket. "How could you bitches let me sleep with Kiba?" she said. She whispered harshly, causing Ino to chuckle. "You seem like you were having a lot of fun, and I didn't want to ruin it for you," she said. Tintin shook her head. "Oh God," she said, rubbing her head painfully. "I'm so embarrassed." Ino simply chuckled again as she gazed out towards the woods. "So, what were you screaming about?" "Oh, I thought there was someone watching me, but it was just a deer." "Oh," said Tintin, with a tiny smirk on her face. "So you got a perverted deer friend, huh?" "Shut up," Ino said with a chuckle. Soon after, Kiba came out with an energy drink in hand, as both girls turned their gaze towards him as he smiled. "Hello there, beautiful," he said, as he walked over and draped the arm around Tintin's shoulder. "And of course I mean Ino," as Tintin elbowed him right in the stomach. "Knock it off, jackass," she said. "She doesn't want to either." "Well, maybe if you tell her how great I am, she might reconsider," he said with a smirk. However, she chuckled. "Is that why I fell asleep 2 minutes in?" His face turned red as the girls chuckled at that, but he brushed it off. "Yeah, sure, whatever," he said, as he hopped up and took a seat on the wooden railing. "I'm kidding anyways. It's really good to have you back, Ino," he said. "Even though you're not as wild as you used to be." She smiled. "Thanks, Kiba. And this place is totally amazing, by the way." "Yeah, I wonder why that guy does not use it anymore," Tintin remarked. "What guy?" Kiba said. Both girls were confused by his reaction until he remembered. "Oh, right, yeah. Guess he always works or something." The both of them stared at him as he was acting strange. "Kiba?" Tintin said. "Yeah," he said, looking around, not meeting their gaze. This is your mother-boyfriend cabin, right? He turned towards him as he scratched the back of his head. Well, not exactly. What? They both yelled at him. I knew that you were lying, Tenten said, making her way inside to get Sakura. Hey, Tenten, come on. It's alright, hey, I can... As he was trying to reason with them, the commotion waked the others up. Well, Choji and Kojiro at least. They both got up confused what was going on. Look, it's fine. The guy was talking to my mom for like a week. And he brought the both of us here to show off his new cabin. Then he just up and vanished. He's been missing for like 8 months, so we're good. He went missing, Tenten yelled. How could you... You're such a dick, Kiba, she yelled. This guy is missing, and you're up here letting us use his cabin? What's wrong with you? Calm down, he said. I mean, who else was gonna use it? What's going on, Kojiro said. Dumbass over here brought us to a cabin that's... isn't even remotely his in any sense of the word. Kojiro was confused. Yeah, he said it was his mother's boyfriend. No, his mom, old boyfriend. A boyfriend who's been missing for the past 8 months. So, wait. Choji said, we're breaking and entering. Technically, robbing the guy. I mean, with all that liquor that we... Wait, said Kojiro. We only brought 2 cases of beer. So that means... Tenten snapped her gaze towards Kiba. You're such a dick, she yelled at him once again. As she slapped him across the shoulder hard. Look, he said, trying to protect himself. It's not a big deal. No one is coming out this far. We're fine, he said, trying to calm them down. I saw a car across the lake a few minutes ago, Ino said. All of them looked towards her, worry in their eyes. It was just parked there for a moment, then it drove off. It must be some hikers. There are a few trails on that side, I think. Kiba. I can't. Go to jail, dude. I can't get arrested. My dad would kill me, said Choji. As Kiba ran his hand through his hair. Relax, Choji, he said. For 1, you're a grown-ass man. 2, we're not going to jail, alright? So everyone just chill the hell out. Now, if you guys want to go, we'll go. We'll clean the place up, then we'll just go, he said. With that settled, they woke Sakura, explaining what was going on. With a quick I told you so to Tenten, and a slap to the face to Kiba, they start to clean the place up. Packing up everything in trash bags that they brought with them. Kiba refilled the empty clear liquors with water, and he then refilled the beer into the darker liquors. It wasn't exactly close, but it looked like it, and who would notice, right? Kojiro came as he whispered. They were just about to put on the finishing touch. Kiba, there's someone here, he said, peeping through the window. What? Who is it, Kiba said, drawing closer. I don't know. It's a man. Or maybe a little boy, he said, uncertainty in his tone, as he couldn't fully make out the person. Kiba looked out the window. What are you talking about? I don't see anyone. He's right there, over by the trees, Kojiro said. Kiba finally saw the person as he unlocked the door and stepped out. Hello, he said, calling out. Listen, we were just cleaning up the mess. We didn't mean any harm, he said out. The person's face fully turned towards him. As he frowned, when he realized, you jackass, it's just a deer, he said. It was the same deer that Ino had seen, as he felt stupid himself for reasoning with no one. Did we get everything, he asked, looking towards everyone. Alright, cool. Then let's go, he said, as everyone piled into the car. The boys in Kiba's and the ladies in Sakura's Volkswagen. Kiba is such an idiot, Tenten grumbled. I should have known that this was all bullshit, she said. Hey, I told you, Sakura said, as she tried to start up the car. That idiot is always doing something stupid. She tried to start it once again, but it refused to start. And why won't my shit, she said. It wasn't starting. It didn't matter how much time she tried. It wasn't starting. Kiba and the guys pulled off before Tenten flagged them down, stopping them. as Kiba came over to see what was wrong. The car won't start, he said. Oh, well, no problem, you see. Kojiro is a mechanic, he said. On their way back, they gestured for her to pop the hood. I can't believe that you guys actually let me sleep with him, Tenten said, folding her arms, as the other two looked towards her. Sakura shook her head. Hey, I was just as drunk as you. Lucky Ino was there to keep me from doing something stupid. Must mean that she loved me more, Sakura said with a teasing tone. Tuh, as if. As Ino simply chuckled, as she decided not to pick a side in this fight. Finally, the guys came back around. Hi, Kojiro said awkwardly. I made sure everything is in working order, he said. I checked the oil. The spark plugs are good. The engine is not cracked, so the only thing I can think of is you're out of gas. Did we put gas in before we left, Sakura said, unsure herself. No, I don't think that we did, Tenten said. Well, shit. What are we gonna do? Do we just ride with you guys, Sakura asked. As Kiba shook his head, my ride is packed up with the trash bags and shit. I can probably only fit one of you, he said. So what are we gonna do then, Tenten said. Well, if one of you want to ride back with us, I can drop off Choji and Kojiro and come back with the gas. The three girls looked at one another. Well, Sakura and Ino looked towards Tenten mostly, as she grumbled, before she pushed the door open and made her way after the two. Well, give us the key, Sakura said. We'll wait inside until you guys return. As Kiba tossed her the key. Don't break anything. Shut up, you idiot, she said. She and Ino made her way back inside. They felt a lot less comfortable than they did earlier as they sat down on the couch. I really can't believe that idiot sometimes. What kind of sense does that make? A guy is missing, so I guess we can use his cabin, she said, mocking his voice to the best of her ability. I'm sorry if he ruined your birthday. When we get home, maybe you and I and Tenten can go and do something. Just the three of us. Ino smiled. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, she said. However, it wasn't totally ruined, she said. I enjoyed it for the most part. Yeah, this cabin is so beautiful. That dude must be really rich. I wonder what happened to him. Yeah, no one just disappears like that, Ino said, letting the silence settle in. Hey, we should see the rest of this place, Sakura said. I've only seen like 2 of the rooms. Are you sure? Ino said. Well, when you look at it, we've already broken and entered. So it would be entering further, she said with a smile. Come on, she said, grabbing her hand, as they made their way upstairs. Opening the double doors. The bedroom was tremendously beautiful. The setup, the decor. It was totally amazing. You know, Ino said, looking around. There's no pictures here or anything. That's strange, isn't it? Well, Kiba did say the guy just bought it. He probably only used it the one time that he was here with them. As they continued snooping, there was no clothes or anything. It was like walking into a hotel room for the first time, without the amenities like soaps or fresh towels. Heading towards the next bedroom. It had a bed and an empty dresser. That was pretty much all. It was rather plain. They went to the next one that was on the end of the hall, at the opposite of the master bedroom. Sakura tried to open it, but it would not budge. She tried to bump it with her hip, but it wouldn't budge. Is it locked? Ino said. No. The doorknob twists. It's just that I can't. And she started to apply more pressure. That is when it creaked, and it scraped on the ground. No, it wasn't a door. Something was behind it. Something is behind it. I need your help, she said. They both leaned themselves against it as they pushed. Sure enough, it gave way and opened up. They flipped the light on. The room was filled with rather old furniture. But however, what truly got to them was the smell. There was a horrendous smell that got the both of them pinching their nose. God, what is that? Ino walked further in. Everything looked so strange. So old-fashioned and strange. I thought Kiba said that this was a new cabin, she pointed out. Sakura looked over towards her, still pinching her nose. Yeah, something like that. God, that smell is awful. I can't take it anymore, she said. I'm out. As she made her way out of the room. However, Ino was still looking around. The awful stench was something that she could handle. Something on the window though. It interested her. As she moved past all the stuff and made her way towards the window. It was dusty, and a little deer was drawn into the dust. She smiled as she rubbed the picture, but it did not go away. Confusing her, she rubbed her entire hand over to clear away the dust. That is when she realized it was drawn on the outside. Confusion on her face. They were on the second floor, and there was no ledge for anyone to stand on. Who drew this? That is when she saw beyond the photo as she looked through the window. And what she saw scared her. It was the same deer from before. The same exact one, she believed. And it was staring directly at her. Looking deeply into her eyes, despite the distance and despite the small glass. That is when she heard a creaking sound. As she looked through the window, the reflection showed her the closet door open and what she saw inside. She would be scared, however, she'd seen something like this before. Sakura's voice broke in though. Whoa, the idiot left all the food in the fridge. She turned back towards the window and the deer was gone. She turned towards the closet, her heart beat started to get faster and faster and faster as she stepped closely towards it. She had no idea what she was doing, but she still proceeded towards it. She placed her hand on the handle and opened the door. The smell was 100 times worse as it slammed into her like a train. It was pitch black. She couldn't see a single thing. The light switch was next to the door. She brought her hand up. She was unsure if she even wanted to see what was inside. But against her better judgment, she flipped the switch. She screamed. A man's head was mantled on the back wall of the closet. Sakura came running up the stairs as she threw the door open, as Ino was on her butt crawling away from the closet. Ino! Ino! She yelled. What happened? Running over towards her. It's as she pointed towards the closet. Sakura made her way towards it and opened it. Ino was confused by her reaction. That's sick. This must be the smell. How was she reacting to a severed head like that? Does she see severed heads on daily occasions? Something was gravely wrong. Ino quickly pushed up to her feet as she made her way towards the closet. Don't these idiots know that? You have to have them stuffed before you mantle it. She turned towards Ino. Is this what scared you? She said, as Ino poked her head inside. When she saw a deer's head, with blood leaking out of his face. No, that's impossible. She clearly saw a man's head earlier. She was confused. Sakura gave her a look that she knew all too well. The visible representation of, are you crazy? It's just a deer, Ino, who knows? For all we know, it could be a Halloween prop. As she walked inside and touched the blood. It is, she said, as she started to peel the blood off the wall. It's a sticker. Then, where's the smell coming from? Ino said. Sakura looked towards her confused. What smell? She said, sniffing the air. Ino looked at her strangely. Was this some kind of joke? The smell. You know, the smell that we smell when we walk in here. Ino, are you alright? Yes, I'm fine, but don't you remember the smell? She asked. She was on the verge of yelling. She took a breath though, before she looked down. When you walked in here, you said, that must be what smells. Sakura shook her head. No, I did not say that. Ino couldn't understand what was going on. Come on, let's go back downstairs, Sakura said. Before they left, Ino glanced back to see the photo that was drawn into the window was gone. Maybe she just imagined it, she thought to herself. Sakura shut the door, strangely fast. Sakura looked towards Ino as she looked a bit worried. It was like she just snapped all of a sudden, as it was a bit awkward now. Luckily, there was a loud bang on the door. They both jumped up immediately. That's probably Kiba, Sakura said, as she headed towards the door. However, when she opened it, there was not a single soul there. Both girls glanced into the darkness. Hello? Sakura called. Kiba, if that's you, stop being stupid. Is he not there? Ino said behind her, confused. I don't know. He's probably just trying to be stupid and scare us, Sakura said as she kept on peering out into the darkness. She started to pat her pockets down, looking for something. Shit. I left my phone in the car. I'll be right back, okay? Ino nodded at Sakura, made her way off. Ino stood there waiting as she watched from the door as Sakura disappeared into the darkness. That is when she heard thud. She spun around. The sound came from upstairs. However, what she saw a feet pattering upstairs. Hello? She said in a worried tone. She saw someone's feet walk into the upstairs. There was no answer though. Her legs moved as she went straight upstairs. She arrived in the hall, but there was no one or nothing around. Thud. Another thud, coming from the room that was filled with old junk. She heard the front door shut. Sakura was back, so there was no need to worry. As she stood at the door, she placed her ear against it. She heard whispering. It sounded like two voices arguing, one a lot deeper than the other. She heard the last part of the sentence. Shh, she will hear us, the deep voice said. Her heart was beating so fast, and she thought of just making a run for it, but she could not. What would they do? They have no car, no way of escaping. Then again, what would she do confronting these intruders alone? She had no idea, but she will have to do something. Fighting through her fear, she swung the door open, her eyes widening in confusion and fear. She stepped inside. There was nothing. No old furniture, nothing at all. The room was empty. Not a single thing in sight. She rushed towards a closet and flung the door open. It banged against the wall. There was nothing. Nothing inside. She shook her head as she ran her hand through her hair, wondering if she was going crazy. She started to feel it again. That quivering feeling, the buzz in her hand, the coldness of her skin. This is what she felt with Sai in her body. This is how she experiences life. As she looked through the window, the deer was there once again. She moved towards it. She rubbed her finger on it. So, it was outside. Her eyes then adjusted to the outside, and her heart stopped immediately to what she saw. The first thing she saw was Sakura being dragged out of her car, kicking and screaming by two hooded men that she did not know. And the deer. It wasn't a deer, it was a child. It was a shirtless kid with a severed head of a deer, like a helmet. The deer then glanced up towards her, while the child that was wearing the deer head. The two hooded men stopped. The one at the back turned his gaze up as well. The other one kept on dragging Sakura as she screamed out for help. The man then ran straight towards the cabin door. Without thinking, Ino took off as well. She could not hide in this room. They knew that she was in there. She ran out of the room, locking the door on the way out. As she rushed into the master bedroom, she closed the door quietly. She could hear the man running up the stairs as he went the opposite way from where she was. As she heard his footsteps heading down the hall, she rushed towards the bathroom with a walk-in closet. She shut every single door along the way. She quickly reached as she pulled out the phone that her parents gave her when she left for emergencies. She used the light to see that there was a shelf on the top, big enough to support her, and it would be out of sight, so she would not be seen. It was a tight fit, but she squeezed her way in as she heard the pounding of the other door. It was getting louder and louder. That is when she heard a boom. The door was breaking down. She quickly hit the speed dial number and placed the phone to her ear. Hello? Dad, she whispered. Eno, what's wrong? Dad, they took soccer. And they're in the house. What? Who took soccer? He said urgently, fear in his tone. I don't know, she said. They took her. The door the guy was working on finally busted down as she yelled in fear. Eno, where are you? I don't know, she said. She never officially told them where they were going. It's a cabin in the Nikiru woods, she said. Dad, I'm scared. Her voice was trembling by now. Alright, Eno, listen. I want you to hang up the phone and call the cops, alright? I want you to hide. Call the cops, alright? Be strong, baby girl, he told her. Dad, no. I'm scared, she said, as she started to whimper slightly. Eno, don't worry, okay? It's going to be alright. She didn't seem convinced. I'm going to hang up now, okay? Do as I said. Quickly, he said to her. As he hung up, Eno heard the door to the master bedroom banging. She quickly started to dial up 911. That is when she heard beep. She pulled her phone back and looked at the screen. The battery. It died. And it went black. Meanwhile, Kyrie was asking her husband what was wrong. However, he was already dialing. Inoichi was not sure why. What possessed him, what told him to call this number, but he didn't know why the feeling was giving him to call this number specifically. But he did. Hello? The voice answered. Yeah, Naruto, hey, it's Inoichi. Look, I need your help. Another asylum case, Naruto asked. No, it's Ino again. He explained the situation. That sounds like a police matter, said Naruto. I know, but maybe there's something that you can do. Please, I'll pay whatever you want, he begged. I'm sorry, Inoichi, but it's really not my expertise. Tell me, where's she at? Maybe I can have a friend help out. I don't know. She said some kind of cabin in Nikiru woods. There was pure silence for a moment. Naruto? Did you just say Nikiru woods? Naruto asked. Yeah, that's what she said. Don't worry, Inoichi. I'll handle it. The phone hung up immediately. Meanwhile, Naruto was sitting in his car. As he clipped off the phone, he quickly dialed up another number as he placed a cigarette in his mouth. Hey, I'm gonna need your help, he said. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Bye, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.